Hello, welcome back to the Immersive Engineering world that I showed off in the last couple of videos. Right, I have done so much. You can probably see from the minimap, but basically I did all the automated crafting stuff with pretty pipes and thought, oh, I'll make a video to show that, never got around to it. Then I built this whole other thing, did loads of not landscape work, but sort of exterior design and everything. Thought, oh, I'll make a video to show this because I've done such a lot, never got around to it. Now I've done even more. I go in like these little fits and bursts of suddenly being really into this and doing a load of stuff. But now I've done even more. I thought I'm still like halfway through several things, but I was just thinking to myself, I need to just bloody well do this video, otherwise I'll have so much to catch up on. You won't know what's going on. So first of all, pretty pipes. There's so much to talk about here, but let's try and focus on the accumulators and assemblers and what have you first. So this is the world of pretty pipes. If you don't know how they work, they're basically like a kind of bit like there's buildcraft pipes, I forgot what they're called now, auto crafting and all that sort of stuff that you used to be able to do. They basically work the same way. What this says is, first things first, we've got this like controller. Nope, there's the controller. The controller's somewhere. It's somewhere. There's no controller. I'm thinking of drawers. There's a network of pipes. I set this up so long ago, I've forgotten how most of it works. And you've got this thing here, like in your technical mods, like applied energistics and what have you. Got some auto crafting as well that we can do. It's all connected by these pipes. And what you do is, say for example, let's look at these wires. This is an assembler that makes wires. Some sticks in there for some reason, but let's ignore that. What you do is you install a module here in Pretty Pipes to say 4 of these wires and 1 of these sticks makes 1 of them. So when you go into your crafting terminal, you say I want some of these, it knows, I can stick some wires and a stick in here and 4 will come out, and then it comes out here. You need an extraction module to pull it out. And you can do nested crafting. So I've also got these here. Let's use the same example for wires. Each of these 3 presses, basically I found a way to sort of round robin sort it. I put the input is this chest, right? So on this here, I tell it a copper ingot makes 2 wires. So it'll put copper ingots into here. It doesn't know what's beyond here. All it knows is put it in here and the system will get some wires. So the copper bar goes in there and then it extracts from here round robin style, so it'll go to each of these. So that enables me to basically do a load of things at once, and they're not all queued up behind one press. The hopper, this is a godsend for me. I don't know why I never thought of this before, but you always have to have the problem on here where I thought, why can't we have a covered conveyor on the press? Because the things queue up here and you can pick them up as you walk past. With a hopper, they stay in the hopper until there's space. So that solves that problem. Little tip for everyone. And then they come out here. You notice that the assemblers, they could come straight out of. The workbenches and these pictures, by the way, tell you what they make, in case that wasn't obvious. The workbenches and the presses, you need to actually output into a crate, and then from the crate, you have an extractor module. For a long time, I couldn't get nested crafting to work. So if someone's watching, I hope someone has been watching this thinking, I can't get nested crafting to work, and they found this video. It's basically the first item, so like using the wire example, this individual wire, it doesn't know, Pretty Pipes doesn't know to bring it out of this press and straight into that assembler. It has to come out of the press and then into storage somewhere. So I discovered this when I was just playing around trying to get it to work. Suddenly it started working. I was like, what the fuck's happened? It was because I'd put another pipe next to this crate and suddenly it had an inventory to go into. Because I was working with, and this is simply because of my setup, because I was working with storage drawers, there was no inventory for anything to go into. So I set up a few sort of like extra crates around the edge. This has just got gubbins in it from the storage system, but it basically means that when something comes out of one of these, it has somewhere to go to very quickly, and then the system goes, I've got wires in the system now, let's send those to the assembler. So that's what you need, basically. You need to make sure you've got valid inventory connected up to it, that the first output can go towards the second input and then the second output. But yeah, so I've got engineering blocks, accumulators, wires, more wires, various things in here. What have I got? Fabric, leather, paper. Ooh. Bits of, what's that, concrete? Oh, there's all the water ones, look. Concrete, radiator block, and asphalt concrete. Ooh, not made any of that yet, don't have any bitumen. What have we got over here? all the fences and sticks, scaffolding, other sticks, mechanical components, bits of like treated wood and sheet metal. These are the connector. Sorry, relays. These are the connectors. There we go. And have I shown these? Yeah, plates, wires, more wires, and sticky, stick. So yeah, this is all very good. And I did a nice little thing as well, which I quite enjoyed, which was I built this gantry first, which meant wiring it was so bloody easy. And I need to extend this to the rest of the factory, but that's a job for another time. I've also got down here, although I've now not given myself a way down, I've got me water there, and this makes liquid concrete for the petroleum wells. This makes redstone acid for the accumulators, and they just stay in here. I mentioned these in the last video. Then back here, I've got all the creosote, which goes off to, these are all full, but it goes off to a flare stack that ignites any excess. This is for making the graphite rod things, graphite electrodes for the arc furnace. Just ignore the ceiling for the moment, I'll get to that. These are there temporarily as well, don't worry about it. So basically, I use a similar system here with round robin. I basically tell it, put coal in here and you get coal coke. And then it comes out of there, round robin style, here we are, into these, what have we got? 7, 8, something, coke ovens, which then output back into the system. And then you've got this thing here. I need to go upstairs, hang on. Wish me luck. This tells it, if you put coal coke in here, you get coke dust. Then this tells it, these pipes, by the way, can be hidden. That's what's happening here. They're going into the underground. This bit here tells it, if you put coke dust in there, you get hop graphite dust. This bit here tells it, if you put hop graphite dust in there, you get hop graphite ingot. And then there's a second one in there for some reason. And then it gets pulled out of there. And then this bit here tells it, if you put in 4 hop graphite ingots, you get a graphite electrode. And so that's where that goes. Back into the system. So that's basically, it's a quick and easy way for me to make them. I've also got this key here. It means that I can keep pulling stuff out of the storage drawers. I've locked the whole system. So if there's 0 of something in a drawer, it'll still be locked to that item type, so it doesn't end up getting filled up with something else. This probably I could do with moving a bit nearer, but I built it back there a while ago. So that's that. Oh, at some point I wanted to crush her, so I thought, why not put it in the floor? So there it is. And then just now, I was trying to think about how I wanted to arrange all the crates and stuff that were along the front here in the storage system, because they've just been along the front. And I thought, hang on, why don't I put it in the floor? And so there it is. Isn't that amazing? You can come down and have a look at it if you want. There's nothing to look at, but there we are. It's fun, I suppose. Obviously, there's nothing in most of these yet. Far too many for me to use, but such is life. I thought it was fun. So yeah, I then also, you may have noticed, I did have the renewable biodiesel set up here, but I thought, why don't I put it next to the other one? And also because every time I wanted to walk over there, I had to like jump over it all. So put it next to the other one, move it out of the way, there it is. So that's now here, and it lines up neatly with the other one, as you can see like that. So that was the next thing I did. It was all scaffoldinged. Like everything was covered in scaffolding, wasn't it? I basically just extended the scaffolding all along here. Obviously, I have since replaced that. That's just a little bit of madness I've got on at the moment. Replaced it with steel, of course. Then we've got this. I built this, by the way. Hello. Let's go outside if I can find my way. I wanted to make a big facility for making steel. So I built this big warehouse. This obviously wasn't attached, though it kind of stopped here and it was made out of scaffolding, but I've just extended all this roof because I thought, why not? Yes, I made this big factory. This is all done in creative, not creative. It's done in survival, by the way, just in case you want to know. So the generators that will be running off of diesel come up here, and you can see the outputs for them here. And they're going to be used to power this facility, which is not finished being set up yet. This is what I mean about I've got like so many things like half done. How cool does this look? Seriously, I'm very happy with this. This might be the thumbnail image there. We'll see. So yeah, basically, what's going to happen is stuff will come in, right? First of all, we'll get an excavator for coal. We'll come into here. This outputs via this router and destroyer into these coke ovens. Again, we're using well, we're not using round robin pretty pipe sorting. This is a fully IE build. So under the floor here, you have an absolute disastrous nest of splitter conveyors. So things get split into 2 first and then into 4. So yeah, they go into these coke ovens. The coke ovens output to the second crusher, which is here. And this outputs the dust into these arc furnaces. And then on the other side, which I haven't set up any of the conveyors yet, these crushers will come from an iron excavator, which will then obviously put the dust into these. Have I done this right? Yep, it put the dust into these arc furnaces that will become iron ingots, and then the ingots go over here with the coke dust, because I think it has to specifically be ingots and dust. Yeah, there we are, like that. And that'll make steel, and all the outputs are set up from these two already. They go into the main sorting system. But yeah, that's I can't remember if I've shown these generators yet or not either. These are for the actual diesel we got from the ground, not the renewable stuff, the biodiesel, actual diesel. But yeah, I've set up this little radioactive zone. I've got so much uranium now from excavators and such. Basically, this is a thermoelectric generator. Uranium and water makes a good combo. And I've got this lovely switch here. This is purely for the lights. I just thought it was quite cool to do it like that. I do like how that looks. Cool, huh? And all these like gangways around the outside, like a proper wee factory. And these ladders going down and up. You can go up ladders as well as down, I've heard. And these are trapdoors that you can close, but I've just left them open for now. Cool, huh? I need some there as well, trapdoors. But yeah, that's that. And I basically ended up with... So I had like, you know, this bit with all the generators and everything. And I had this bit there. And this little antechamber here to look at the readouts from the generators. And I thought, well, why don't I just make all of this scaffolding into steel and concrete as well to connect it all up? And I thought, well, why don't I do that with the assemblers as well? And now obviously I thought, well, why don't I extend it across here to the other machinery? I'm leaving this little gap open though. I quite like that little courtyard. Oh yeah, and this is just to remind myself that I want to put some sort of like boundary here. I don't want to block it off, but just some sort of boundary to say this is the wire zone, so watch where you're going sort of thing. But yeah, I've got this huge area here. What I do want to do, I've had an idea of building some sort of nickel, this is nickel roof, some sort of nickel dome with like an observation deck, maybe like a library as well. I'm having half an idea of something I want to build maybe on top of there. Almost a bit like the US Capitol building kind of shape, but not looking like that, but in terms of having like wings and a dome. And I thought you could build a library. I've installed a little furniture mod that might look quite good. I can't remember if in the last video I mentioned, I think part of the reason the wires were burning out, which obviously I solved by limiting them using capacitors and connectors. I still call them capacitors because that's what they are. I think that may have been because even though no sector was pulling out more than 32,000 flux per tick, which is the wire limit, but I think because of energy loss across the wire network, I think the whole network may have been pulling more than that, and so that's why that was happening. Something I have got on my to-do list is to write down, basically draw a little wiring diagram of all of this, to write down what actually should be stepped down to medium voltage. It's fair enough having like the main trunk wire being HV, but like even here I could step it down to MV if some of this is only MV. But I just used HV for everything, but in reality I should step it down because that will negate the wire loss a little bit. That wire goes down into the ground to power that crusher. That gets stepped down to MV as well for no particular reason. I just thought I should. But yeah, I like having this little bit open. Potentially, I might put a little bit across here. What I was thinking is I could just extend this little catwalk just along the edge of the open bit, just to kind of tie it in a little bit. I don't know. I think that might be quite nice. We'll see. We got here as well for the assemblers and such. I've got, because I haven't calculated how much power all of those things will use at once. So what I've done is I've got the power going into an HV capacitor, that gets stepped down to an MV capacitor, and then that MV capacitor powers everything just to make sure I've always got enough energy there. And it'll just charge up when it's not in use. Right, what else have we got to show off? It's just the roof, I think, really. Oh, no, there was one other thing, but I'll get to that in a sec. Yeah, I'm just finishing this off now. I wish there was something I could do here. Like obviously with the IE pipes, you can put a scaffolding around it, which just ties it in nicely. You can't do that with this, so I'm still considering what I want to do about this. Whether I might just make the whole thing scaffolding perhaps, which might just look a little bit nicer with these poking through it. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll think about that. I need to do one across here as well. Let's just do half of one so I remember. Yeah, so the other thing then that has changed is talking about getting the iron and coal for the what's it called? For the steel foundry. I thought I'd make a quarry. So you know, sometimes the mood just takes me and I just obsessively dig. So I want to like tart this up a bit. I don't want it to just be like jagged stone steps. I want to like maybe take the edges off, as it were, around like that. Make it maybe like go 2 down, just so it's a bit less jagged. And then I want to add in things like, you know, piles of gravel and bits of like machinery and tanks, you know, and things. Just make it look like a used quarry, right? A quarry that's in use, I mean. And then I've got my pentlandite sources here. So this is what basically I want an excavator maybe on the like the rung below, but with the bucket wheel here on this like coordinate, I mean, but like on the rung below. So I'll just have a cool excavator here, and then it'll like go into silos. And what I want to do is actually set up a little railway to like collect it from the silos, and then once the cart goes off, the silo stops outputting, and the cart will go and put it in a silo by the foundry, and then the cart will come back and pick up the next lot. I think that'd be quite a cool thing to do. God knows how I'm going to do it, but I'll give it a go. But yeah, as I was digging this, I discovered this fucking massive cave system underneath it, which was a little bit annoying. But then I realized, actually, this is going to make it look really interesting. So again, obviously, I need to add decoration to it. I've literally just dug it out and left it at that. But all this uneven stuff here is basically natural formation. Even these like outcrops here, I didn't make those. They're a bit annoying, to be honest with you. I might just actually cut them off. But yeah, all of this was done survival as well, because I am insane. But yeah, how cool is it? They've got the little like cut through ravine there. Got a little cave down here with some water in the bottom. You always see pictures of quarries with open pit mines with water in the bottom, so I think that worked quite well. There's a little cave over here as well, bits of coal and stuff. But yeah, this is for the iron. I think that'd be quite cool to do. And then the coal is here. I was planning just to make it the same quarry, but I ended up just basically just the way the map looked. There was a bit of an indentation here, so I thought I'll put it here. Then it follows the kind of natural shape, you see. For this one, I want to do something similar. It won't be quite as big, but I have so much coal. If I go back to home base, so much coal thanks to all the seams. I can literally just build a coal seam out of coal blocks out of these guys. And just put the excavator in front of it, and it'll look like it's like legit being dug up, which would be really cool. Took a long time. Yeah, for the iron, I've been collecting the stuff that I've found while digging the quarry, but that's quite clearly not enough to. Is it 9 you need to make a block? I forget. Yeah. So I've got 5 so far. So that might be a pipe dream. I might just have to go and dig up a load of tuff or something like that and use that instead. It's not a bad idea, actually. I didn't think of that. Just thought of that right now, because I think I've got a... Where's all my tuff? There it is. So much tuff. There was that iron... Here we are. I think I dug up like literally all the iron I could find, but there was a seam down here, right? But this is a good source of tuff as well, potentially. I might dig up maybe the deep slate, tuff. Yeah, actually, that's a good... Yeah, there we are. Just on the fly thinking. Lovely stuff. Yeah, because that's not enough iron. I'm not going to be able to get enough iron ore to... Because you don't get... Wait, you do get... Or hang on, I'm being really stupid. I could set up another excavator and dig up... because it'll give me this, right? And I can stick that in. No, I get dust. I'd have to literally place it all in the world and dig it up, right? That's annoying. That's the only way I'd be able to do it. try and get a fortune enchantment maybe and do it that way, because that's another way to do it, potentially. I might do that. It doesn't sound like the worst idea in the world. I did have a couple of laterite and pentlandite, and yeah, maybe I'll do another laterite one and then just literally place it on. There is definitely something I could automate to place the blocks and then dig them up as they come in. So let's do that. Brilliant idea. I'll write that down in a minute, and then I can actually make an iron seam for it to be digging out, which would be quite cool. I don't need any spare iron. So yeah, I can afford to waste it on that. That's fine. Same as the coal, right? So yeah, there we are. Those are the next plans. Immediately though, because I was just, you know, when you just don't really, you have an idea but you don't really know how to execute it. That's where I was with that quarry. That's why I just did all of this disastrous stuff instead. But it also meant, yeah, I put some lights in here and everything, blah blah blah. Replacing the wiring was a pain in the ass, but not too painful. I basically just did it one block at a time. Like I took those wires off, replaced the block, put the wires back. Took those wires off, replaced the block, put the wires back. Using the snippy snip tools, it meant I knew if I'd missed any wiring. And then I just replaced all the other blocks without just missing the ones that had already been done. I was about to say something else. Yeah. So my current thing at the moment is obviously I'm just adding that. And then I'll probably put a catwalk around the edge. And then I want to make that big old fuck off dome. I did think of, because I wanted to do like an office, you know, like the CEO's office with windows overlooking everything. And I did consider putting it on top of there, which is where the control room was going to be initially. But then I thought, I've got that big like blank space here. I should put something there really. It would be good to put something. That control engineering was so good with the control panels, but it was such a ball ache to actually use that mod. I hated it. Hence I uninstalled it. I literally rage quit out of the mod. But it would be good to have something on top of there possibly. What I would like to do is try and enclose this area here that I'm in now with the control room and actually make it into a control room. Like with maybe like big glass windows down the side, and if I can make something that looks like it's some sort of control desks and stuff like that, like in a nuclear power plant, you know, when you see pictures of inside a control room. Why is there graphite on the ground? But yeah, maybe something up there. I don't know. I do like the idea of the massive dome. I just think it would look ridiculous. I think I used to play the Oddworld games a lot. I love the aesthetic of those games, especially like Abe's Exodus is my favorite game, right? I'm thinking like Fico Depot, Executive Office. Just it's all industrial, but there's just like some plush furniture. That's what I'm aiming for, right? But anyway, that's all for now. By the next time you see this, God knows when it'll be, a couple of years probably, knowing my my schedule. Forgot the word schedule then. Yeah, that's why this is just kind of sat there, because I don't really know what to do with it. There's this here. I've been debating trying to figure out how to put this underground with the other stuff that's underground, just so I can like open a hatch and right click on the table or something. I think it'd be quite funny. But theoretically, this is my home because that's my spawn point, right? But yeah, this is a map I made. I wanted to make a map room as well. See, these are all things that I just haven't got around to. This actually would work really well in the library if I make a library, right? But yeah, this is what it did look like. You can see I had all this was open. These are steel scaffoldings, right? This bit was the only bit that was covered. And obviously the rest of it. But yeah, I built that thingy-mablob. It's a different colour. Why have you done this? There we are. This is like a live map, so it's using the right colour, but for some reason it's never been that colour. Oh well. I guess it's because it's zoomed out so far, the details are a bit different. Yeah, let's see, this is before the quarry, this is before a lot of stuff. So, I'm going to keep this as a little souvenir. Maybe this will go in the map room, that'd be quite nice. In the library, make a map room in the library, put it on the floor. No, I like the wall. Anyway, I'll worry about that another time. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one. Bye.